we don't have freedom, we have nothing in this country. And there was a generation of Americans, and many of them were from this state, people like John Stark, people from right next door, Ethan Allen, and many, many others, thousands of people from this state who gave their lives during the American Revolution, who sacrificed their property, their wealth, their status, their relationship, so that we could enjoy the civil rights and the constitutional rights that made this country a great nation. And we cannot allow somebody to take those rights away from us. We have to be willing to make the same sacrifice that our ancestors made for us, to make sure that our children enjoy those same rights, those same liberties. So thank you all for standing with us.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. So we're going to open up the side for ventilation here to get some air. And I'd now like to introduce Carla Garricky, the head of the Free State Project, to open it up for questions.
All right. Thanks for that introduction. For people who don't know, I'm the chair of the Free State Project, and this is my party, and I'm very glad to be here. We're deeply honored to have you here, and you know, I personally actually asked folks if we could get you out here to come speak to us. We are libertarians of New Hampshire, obviously the Free State Project, and we are also the modern peace movement. And I think that's where we truly have overlap. So I wanted to let everyone in the room know I have been collecting questions over the past few weeks and last night on the campground. And in the interest of time and logistics, I actually have a list of questions that we're going to go through that way. I believe we have about 30 minutes before you have to mosey on again. And so I'm just going to sort of start doing it. I hope the time works out. The first question actually does have to do with the modern peace movement. We, of course, everyone in this room really does love your anti-war position. We also have a lot of activists in the state who are working on Defend the Guard legislation. But it is the bill that's been introduced that will say that Congress, who has failed us, who no longer declares war, what Defend the Guard would do is it would allow states to say that we will not send our National Guard to foreign wars. As president, would you support that, or would you try to stop the states from doing that?
You know, I have never heard that proposal before. I think it's a really interesting proposal. I don't want to cop out. I would want to think about it before I give you an answer, but I'm happy to give you an answer. I need to think about that first.
Okay. Do you, you know, how would you go about sort of reducing our footprint overseas, and perhaps how could we get out of this war in Ukraine?
I think it's going to be quite easy to get out of the war in Ukraine. I mean, we now know, we found out in the last couple of weeks, that President Putin and President Zelensky, our Prime Minister Zelensky, actually signed an agreement in April of 2022, and that the Russians were complying with that agreement. They had already began removing their troops from around Kiev, and that you know, Boris Johnson was sent there clearly, you know, at the behest of the White House to sabotage that agreement. And that's not the first time we've done that. I mean, Zelensky, the involved nation, France, Germany and Russia all agreed to the Minsk Accords earlier on. And in 2019, when Zelensky ran, he ran on the basis of signing the Minsk Accords. He ran as the peace candidate. This is a guy who is a comedian and an actor, which I'm not disparaging because that's what my wife does, so I'm not going to say anything about it. And he was not a politician, a veteran politician. Why did people vote for him? They voted for him because he was the peace candidate. And the Ukrainian people wanted peace. That's what they wanted. And as soon as he got to office, Victoria Nuland was over there pressuring him, along with people from the ultra-nationalist right within Ukraine, to pivot and to walk away from the Minsk Accords. And we've now killed 350,000 young men over there that have been killed in that war. And I'm not an apologist for Vladimir Putin. It's a brutal war. It was illegal. He had other choices. We also need to look at our role in the provocations going back to 1997. Oh, by the way, let me ask the second question. How do we wind down the empire abroad? The answer, we have now 800 bases abroad. Chinese have 1.5 bases. I don't know if the Russians have any now, outside of the Ukraine. I don't know if they have any. We have, each one of those bases is a platform for future war. And we were told that, in 1992, when the wall came down in Germany, and the Soviet, and Gorbachev agreed to dismantle the Soviet Empire, we were told we were going to get a peace dividend. We were told that we were going to stop investing in billion-dollar stealth bombers that can't fly in the rain, and then we would bring that money home to build schools and roads and infrastructure and help lower taxes and help farmers convert to regenerative agriculture, all the things that we ought to be doing as a nation. But none of that happened. We were told that our military budget was going to go from $600 billion a year to $200 billion a year. And that would be enough to protect our borders, to arm ourselves to the teeth, to spend more on our defense than any other nation in the world. We spend today more than the next 10 nations combined. We spend 3 times what China spends. It's not good